It's a very eminent panel, and nobody wanted to take the risk of moderating this panel, so they chose me. Actually, we just heard the Honorable Chief Justice. He gave us the way forward as far as technology and law is concerned, and the emerging field of artificial intelligence. We are delighted to have with us the Chief Justice of Madhya Pradesh High Court, Mr. Sanjeev Sachdeva, who originally comes from Delhi, but presently is in Madhya Pradesh and is also associated with the technological advancement being planned at the level of the Supreme Court as part of the committee. But before I start, Chief Justice Sachdeva ji, let me ask you something which we all witnessed during COVID. Now, before COVID, it was impossible to think in India that you could have a virtual hearing. There was no concept of virtual hearing. And the world of court hearing changed. And thereafter, the advancement has not stopped. We have live streaming also. Some courts allow it, some don't allow it. There are issues of artificial intelligence. So I would like to ask you, how do you perceive this technology influencing the evolution of law?
Thank you, Mr. Tankha. It's actually a pleasure to be here to address all of you. I'd like to slightly put an input in what Mr. Tankha said about virtual hearing not being a reality when COVID struck us. In the Delhi High Court, the first digital court was started in 2008. In 2000, and after that, whenever there used to be we had instances where we'd have some experts joining in virtually. For that, the court would rise from the courtroom, go to a VC center or a virtual courtroom center, and then the court proceedings would be held and the judge would come back. In 2018, in my court, when I was sitting in Delhi High Court, I attempted a virtual hearing. We had the director of the Forensic Science Laboratory connected from her remote location, and we had that, and seamlessly it was conducted. In 2019, December, we were planning to set up virtual courtrooms in all the courts in the Delhi High Court. We had about 40 benches. And when the pandemic struck and lockdown happened, I think, on 14th of March. 21st of March was the first virtual case that was held in Delhi High Court. And thereafter, not a single day was Delhi High Court shut. All the judges went digital. In March, it happened. And now, it seems, it's not too far off, but now it seems that virtual courts are there for us to be, for us. And in fact, I'm in Delhi today, my court is functional tomorrow, and I'll be holding a virtual court from Delhi tomorrow. And my colleague judge, I'm sitting in a division bench, will be connected from Madhya Pradesh. In fact, during pandemic, we had a division bench sitting virtually where one judge was in Delhi, one judge was in Madras, and the lawyers were connected virtually. So virtual courts are now here to stay. And in fact, it is helping us in such a fashion that the courts don't shut. You don't need to shut. And if you have an infrastructure difficulty, if you don't have enough infrastructure in the sense you don't have enough physical infrastructure, virtual courts don't require anything. We have digital courts where completely everything is recorded online in Delhi in motor accident cases, in traffic cases. So these virtual courts, it's actually a tremendous advancement that India has made in terms of digitization. I became a judge in 2013. Till date, I have never used a paper file. So it is possible and it's happening. So we are using all virtual files, we are using digital data, the amount of space we are saving. But But probably I'll leave it for your next question when it comes, because I'm sure you're going to ask us about law keeping up with technology. So I'll leave it for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief Justice Sachdeva ji. We have the deputy MP, Member of Parliament from, which is the country, sir?
From Ireland.
Ireland. And now Ireland is known for many things. And for technology also, I know data is stored there in a very big way. We know that also. So please tell us, given the change in the current landscape, how do you see the law evolving to respond to new global realities and challenges, especially in your country?
Hello, good evening, everybody. Is there anybody out there? Good evening, everybody. Hello. Hey, that's good. So to say thank you, first of all, for inviting me here to this NXT Summit. And this panel, we're very conscious that we're the support act before the main act that comes on later. And as it's quite gender imbalanced, this is kind of the boy band before you get to see the main act later on. But I do think the question of the balance between law and technology is very important. And our role as legislators, I see our first priority is the protection of the safety of our citizens. And that applies as much in the offline world as it does in the online and digital world and in the era of artificial intelligence. And new technology, we need to see it as an enabler. It shouldn't be seen as a goal in itself. So where it's applied in law, in business, in education or healthcare, our question has to be, how does this better deliver services to our citizens? How does this deliver in law and justice better outcomes, the better delivery of justice? In the area of crime prevention, for instance, how can we deploy AI tools to be able to prevent the commission of crime and also to detect criminal activity? So I think we need to inform ourselves more about this. The more debates that we have in public, because as speakers have said earlier, it's critical that we involve members of the public in these debates. Trust is a critical element to all of this. But I have no doubt that AI and other technologies, but particularly artificial intelligence, will profoundly transform both how we as legislators draft and enact laws, but also in terms of how the courts will interpret and will use AI to make decisions, and indeed how law enforcement agencies will use it to enforce the law.
Thank you. That was very, very interesting. And fortunately, Justice Sachdeva is of course a judge, but other two people are lawyers and members of parliament from their country. So now, Senator Malcolm Byrne, now I would like to ask you, do you think technology advancement could eventually push the legal system towards becoming more borderless? Or will jurisdictional sovereignty continue to remain the defining feature of law?
Well, the answer is not easy. I think that the law is behind the facts. And for me, AI is a tool, only a tool. You have a hammer. You can this hammer to work or to kill somebody. The AI too. And we have more than 20 projects in my chamber. And I think that this is a big way. About fake news. You can do fake news with the AI. But we have our penal code to this matter. And we are in the first stage from the AI. What happens if our law is behind? The development stops. And I think that we must think about that and growing and waiting for the development. And after that, we can do a better law.
These are good answers, very informed people. But Justice Sachdeva, I'm going to give you a tougher question this time. And the tough question is, with crores of cases pending in India, because we are a country of 140 billion. You are chief of one of the largest states of India. Pendencies are huge. How do you think technology will be used to reduce this pendency?
You see, technology has been a great tool in terms of dispensation, but because of the vast pendency, it is showing results. It's not that, but if you expect miracles to happen, it cannot happen. Because ultimately, human intervention is required in disposal of cases. Technology is being used extensively. If you look at the disposal rate, which was, say, 10 years, 15 years ago, we are many folds ahead today. But the numbers are still so insignificant in terms of the pendency that the result is not noticed. But since we maintain the data, we have that information. Technology today is used in the filing of cases. The Honorable Chief Justice of India mentioned about digital filing. It is saving a lot of space. A simple example I'll give you, and the reason why I've always been promoting a digital court. I was sitting on a vacation bench once, and as an Indian lawyer, you would know that the volume of cases and the volume of pages that are there in each file. So in a vacation bench, when you're sitting suddenly on a day, you don't get to have digitized files because these are urgent cases which are filed a day before and listed the next day. So I had about 90 matters listed on that day. So I said, let me time me in terms of how much time I'm taking in picking up a file and opening it, closing it and putting it back. So I realized that I was taking about 1.5 minutes in just opening a file and closing it and putting it back. So I was spending about 145 minutes in just that work. That was judicious time being wasted. In a digital file, in a computer, with just at a click of a button, it opens. It speeds up things. Our research tools that we are using, they help us. We have implemented AI-assisted translation tools which translate real time. And it's contextual translation. If you were to translate using Google Translate from, say, Hindi to English, it'll give you words which are not legal, which don't make sense. But the AI tools that we're using give us literal translations with contextual translation. AI tools are substantially helping us in dispensation, in research work, in disposal of cases. But yes, AI is not going to replace judges. The question which you asked the co-panelist, may I just add on to that, whether law is becoming borderless. Well, today, we have to. Today, law is not borderless. We are all governed by our own laws of our respective countries within the borders. But technology and law and the businesses, crimes which are happening borderless. So maybe the world as a nation has to think and create a situation where, yes, borderless laws could be a reality, especially in terms of today's technology. For example, a crime is committed in, say, in a country. The server which is used to commit the crime is another country. The person is sitting in a third country. So virtually that transaction is happening borderless. But law today doesn't take it. Maybe a crime in India may not be a crime in another country. But yes, nonetheless, something has happened. So probably we may need to have a unified decision by I call the world as a nation rather than different nations. The world as a nation should come together and maybe create a system where we could have borderless laws, borderless implementations, which may then tomorrow be a reality. Yes, law would be borderless.
That's a good answer. Deputies Capozzi, let me ask you something, taking it forward from... Okay. Taking it forward from here, you think there can be an international connect between the courts and the judicial system at some stage? When we talk of borderless,
Yes, it's part of this. In our province is Rio Negro, the Black River. We are building a new station for AI. The inversion is 25 billion American dollars. A lot of people working. The future is near, but we have an obligation with the next generation. Live the earth better than we live.
and Senator Malcolm,
I want to talk about this idea of global governance of artificial intelligence and any new technology. And I think what is critical, and this is about the importance of it being human-centric, it's the values that we use in the deployment of that technology and the use of that technology. And I think that's why it's critical for India, for Argentina, for the European Union, for those countries where democratic values are really important. And those things that we think that are important, democracy, human rights, the rule of law, those principles also need to underpin how new technologies are rolled out. I think there is a real concern of a concentration of power in the hands of a small number of companies in the rollout of these new technologies, and particularly if they're not infused with those values which to us as democracies are very, very important. And in us keeping humans in the loop, in us making our decisions about how law operates in those sectors, the principles that we apply in our courts at present, that respect for justice, that has to underpin how we roll out those new technologies. Because if not, and a real concern that I have is how AI and other technologies are being misused, in some cases by state actors, and I think they need to be called out, the likes of China and Russia and Iran, but also by non-state actors, and how non-state actors may deploy AI. And I think as legislators and as members of the judiciary, those principles that are important to all of our states, they have to underpin our thinking.
since we are short of time and we have to finish this program now, let me thank Mr. Kartikeya Sharma with his visionary concept of the next. He has brought so many legislators, judges, lawmakers, thinkers together, and this is how we're going to reach the next phase of our judicial administration of justice system. Thank you so much, Kartikeya. Thank you so much, ITV Network. Thank you so much, all of you who are here to hear this program. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.